When you go to today's Moodle page, make sure you download the blank t-shirt graphic, and also there's a zip file that has several smaller graphics inside of it that you can incorporate into your t-shirt design. Excuse me. If you see by the little icon we're going to have, I want you to make a t-shirt that says graphic design on there somehow. You can add any other text, any other graphics that you want, as long as you have the words graphic design on there. And you're also using the t-shirt that I'm providing for with you. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new document. So we'll jump into Illustrator. Remember to make a new document, File, and New. And we're just going to keep it at a letter-sized piece of paper, 8.5 by 11. Make sure your orientation is portrait, up and down. I'm going to give you one more thing that's not in the directions that I gave you, but I realize this will give you some better results. Under the Advanced tab, and if you don't see it, you can hit the little up and down arrow, change your color mode from CMYK to RGB. This is going to help your, we're going to do some color blending, and for whatever reason, it's a long story, RGB blends colors better. It'll make it look a little bit better in the end. So we're going to change our mode to RGB. We'll say OK to this. Okay, so in Illustrator, one of the first things we need to do is to place in the picture of the blank t-shirt that I've given you. And you'll see why I'm giving you a gray t-shirt to work out with. You can go online if you ever want to design your own t-shirts and have like a simple template. Go to Google and just type in blank t-shirt or blank sweater or blank whatever you want to create. And usually you can find a lot of resources that'll give you these type of images to work with. So to place this image into Illustrator, remember we need to go to File, down to Place, and then choose the picture we want. There it is on the desktop. We'll hit Place. And here it is placed. Now this image is going to be really, really big, so it's going to fill up your entire page. We need to scale this down. I've got my Move tool, my black arrow. I'll pull my toolbox down where I can see it. With it selected, here's an interesting trick. Notice I can see one little bounding box on the left-hand side. I'm going to hold down my Shift key and drag inward. I'm also going to hold down my Option key. Notice that if I didn't hold down my Shift key, it's still going to scale it in, but it's going to kind of drag it off to the right-hand side. If you hold down your Option key and your Shift key, it'll scale it on all sides towards the center, which is more what I wanted that way. That way I don't have to move it around. As long as it can fit within your page, that's what we're looking for. So very simply, very easily, we wanted to place the picture of our t-shirt in the center of it. We're going to play around with some of the layers and actually layer up this artwork. It works the same as in Photoshop. If you want to make a new layer in your Layers palette, click the New Layer icon at the bottom right-hand side. That's going to create layer 2 on top of that. All of the we're going to change the color of this this t-shirt, and we're going to do the color change on layer 2. We're going to later make another layer to put your graphics on that, and that'll be on layer 3. To help you out, if I was to start making things on here and I accidentally selected this object, notice it's in layer 1. If you look in my layers palette, it's highlighted layer 1 again. So what I want to do is I don't want to be able to select this accidentally or make any changes to layer 1. What I want to do is lock it down. And to lock it down, if you'll click on the little empty box in your layers palette next to the eyeball, a little lock will appear, and with that one selected, it will make you where you can't select or move or make any edits to that particular layer. So I can only work on layer 2 from here. All good? Real simple? All of this is just kind of getting you preparation to set up your document. So here's how you can change the color of this gray t-shirt. I'm going to grab my rectangle tool. I'm going to set my stroke color to none. We're only going to work with a fill color. And I've got some swatches opened up, so I'm going to choose red. And make a red rectangle that covers your entire t-shirt. From here, we learned last week about changing the blending modes of objects. And to do this, just like in Photoshop, the blending mode affects the pixels that are below it. We need to have open our transparency palette. And here you can see it's under normal. The best blending mode to work with from this one is actually overlay. With overlay turned on, you can see it turns the t-shirt color, whatever color the fill color was. Notice, however, you've got this red outline that's going around the entire thing, but there's white on the inside of it. Here's what's happening, why it's doing that. Remember when you place this image into Illustrator, it has a white background anyway. But behind that, it's not really white, it's actually transparent. So when you set this to overlay, it's saying, okay, there's red pixels being combined with white pixels. Okay, well, that's going to knock those out and just become white. But in this case, it's red pixels and really transparent. There's no object behind here. So to just kind of fix this, we're just going to rescale the rectangle until it fits inside the white box. And now you don't have to worry about the edges altogether. Pretty cool? And this is just a simple, easy way of changing up the color of this inside here. If for whatever reason you had your document mode as CMYK, the colors would be very, very muddled, very muddy. RGB just works best when working in overlay transparency mode. Here's another really cool and fun thing to work with. I'm going to close these out. In your swatches palette, if you look at the very bottom left-hand corner, there's some more predefined swatches that you can choose from if you didn't want to have the basic solid colors. Of course, you can click on any of these solid colors and in one click change it to whatever color that you wanted to from here. If you wanted, say, a gradient of colors, let's say I wanted to go from one color and fade to another one, I'm going to choose the bottom left-hand side, and these are some just predefined ones. Here's one for gradients, and let's do color harmonies. And so here's some color gradients that are typed in. So in this case, it's going from orange to blue, and it's blending that in for your particular t-shirt color as well. So if I wanted, say, a lime one or one more like that. Also, in your gradient, you can adjust the direction that it's going, or you can grab your gradient tool to work through with that one. Pretty cool? Here's an even better thing. If you look at the bottom right-hand side, there's also some patterns that you can look with or work with. These are just kind of predefined, custom, repeating patterns that you can use over and over again. So I'll open up some of these. So some decorative ornamental patterns. So if you wanted your t-shirt to have the spirals to them, these are just a repeating spiral pattern. And all it's doing is it's filling it in. That's a cool t-shirt right there. I would wear that one. Let's see what else they have. Under patterns, nature, ooh, animal skins. So if you wanted a leopard pattern or a giraffe pattern, turtle pattern, you can play around with these. You don't have to keep it at a solid one. I think I saw a really cool one. Maybe it was under modern. Oh well. Choose whatever fill color that you want. As long as you're changing up the color or the pattern of the t-shirt. Oh, that one's wild. I'll keep it that one. That's what I want you to work with for your t-shirt. The next thing we're going to do is actually add the graphics and add the text to the t-shirt we're working on. I'm going to zoom in so it'll take up a little more room. I'm going to lock down layer 2 because I don't want to change up the fill color that I'm working with. We're going to create a new layer, layer 3, and this is the layer that we're going to actually add the text and add the documents to. Now I will teach you one more tool and a couple of more techniques, and it's nothing really too heavy. I don't think you can not pick up on. To add text to a document, you've got a type tool, and it's usually on the right-hand side of your toolbox. With it, when you select it, you can look at the very top. You can see what font you're using. So in this case, the character is Myriad Pro. You can see what weight you're using, so if it has a bold or italic, and also what size you'll be typing out with. Also, you have your basic alignment, so if you want it to be centered or left or right aligned. Here's how you can get a few more options, and actually the palette that I like to work with. If you go to Window and look for it's found usually under Type, the Characters palette. Using just this palette, if you choose one of the fonts, it'll actually give you a preview of what the font looks like. And that's only from the Characters palette. So in this case, if I wanted to choose, let's get a fun one, say Marker Felt. In this case, it'll come in wide. Whereas if I just chose at the very top and click down, you see how it's just giving you the name of it. It doesn't give you the preview, so you don't really know, well, what does that font look like? If you open up your character palette, that's the one that'll give you what it looks like. So to use the Type tool, I'm just going to click once, It may be kind of difficult to see, but I've got a blinking cursor. From here, I can type out any character that I want. I'm just going to type in the word graphic. With it, I can also select the text. I can change up the size of it. I can even change the font at this time if I wanted to. I can adjust the leading and the kerning. I'm just going to keep it the way it is for now because I'm only interested in just that one word. If you do want to change the size of it on the fly, grab your Move tool and notice that it has a bounding box going around it as well. With this, I can click and readjust the size of it. This is kind of my preferred way of changing up the size of text rather than using the Type tool. Just click and drag the bounding box using your Move tool, and you can place it anywhere that you want to on top of there. If you want to change up the color of your type that you've created, it's simply a matter of changing your fill color. So in this case, I think white would show up pretty well. We'll hit OK. You can see now it's much brighter. What would be another bright color that would work well with that? Yeah, okay, we're just going to make it really loud and proud type design from here. Here's one of the best things that I love to use in Illustrator. So you've got your type typed out. Let's do some fun kind of warping of the text from here. This is one thing you may want to take notes on how to do. I wish I had a handout to be able to give you. But once you've typed out your text and you've got your text selected, to warp the text, we're going to go to Object, drop-down menu, choose Envelope, Distort, and then Make with Warp. With this selected, it's got a fancy pop-up box. There's some different styles that you can choose from. If you click the drop-down menu, you kind of get a preview of what the different type of warps you can do with it. I'm going to turn on my preview button, and so whatever I do, you can see the preview of it. And this is kind of a way of warping the text that you're working with, depending on whatever style that you want it to be. So if I just wanted to arc the lower portion of it, this is a great way of doing that, or I can even arc it in this way, or maybe bulge out both sides of it. Wave won't do anything, but flag will. So if I wanted to do that sort of thing, I can do that. It's just kind of a fun, easy way of playing around with different ways of warping the text. You can even make one side larger or smaller to work on it from there. As soon as you're set with what you want, you can hit OK. And it'll lock in whatever change that you've created on there. Pretty cool? Very simple, very easy. And this works with any type. It'll actually work with any object that you've created. Type just gives you the best results when working with them. Here's one thing you got to keep in mind, however. Notice that I've got the object selected. It's no longer a text path that I can type on. As a matter of fact, if you look in the fill color, you can see that it's gray. This is kind of an advanced thing, but what this is in is called an envelope, and the envelope allows you to distort it. So in other words, I've created this shape, and then it's warped the text to fit inside of this shape as if it's fitting inside of an envelope. If you do want to change the text, or if you do want to change the color later, here's how you can do it. Go back to Object, and down to Envelope Distort. Remember, that's where we did the warp. And at the very bottom, you can see Edit the Contents. The contents of this being the text that you created. With that selected, you can see I've got my type line now. I can actually use my type tool, and I can retype in whatever I want it to do. So if you want to do your name, you can type in your name, and it still fits within that object that you selected. If you want to change the color of it, you can highlight it, pick up your color picker, and it'll change the color of it from there. Let me change it back to graphics. So there we go. So graphic. And I can move that back over. I'm going to go back to Object, Distort, and this time we're going to edit the envelope. In other words, the shape that I'm working with. Pretty cool? Okay, all good. Let's see. I know one thing I want to do. I want to give it a little bit of a drop shadow. I want to make a copy of it. So Edit, Copy, then Edit. Instead of pasting in front, I'm going to paste in back. In other words, paste a copy of it behind it. And this is the way I would do a drop shadow. So I've got a copy of it pasted behind there. I'm going to change, go back to my contents. I'm going to change the color of it to black. Then using my arrow keys, I'm just going to nudge it. behind the t-shirt too. Huh, well, why isn't that working? Oh, there we go. I can give it kind of a drop shadow. I don't know why it wasn't working earlier, but now it's working this time. So that kind of gives it a little bit more contrast from the background that I'm working with. You need to do the same thing for the other. So I need to type out design. Make it larger. Object, envelope distort, make with warp. Y'all tell me which style I should use. Squeeze. Down here at the bottom. Turn on preview. Oh, that's kind of cool. Well, turn that back in. So this time it's bulging out the edges. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's good. And we'll say OK to that. Remember, if I want to change the color of it, we need to go back to the envelope distort and edit the contents. And I'm just going to eyeball the color that I had there. Make a copy of it, paste it in back. Oops. Change that one that I have selected to black. There we go. Give it a little drop shadow as well. It's coming together really well. If you do design t-shirts, my suggestion is also to keep the colors at a minimum. The more colors you have, the more costly the t-shirt it usually is. So sometimes you'll want to keep it to 1 or 2 or 3 different colors. For this one, go crazy. Use as many colors as you want to work with. All right, last thing you need to do is to add some sort of graphic to the t-shirt that you're working with. If you want, you can create your own graphics. So let's say in the background I wanted to add like a starburst type of effect. So I'll grab my star tool. I'm going to send that to the back behind it. Let's give it even a different color, make it stand out. This is a horribly designed t-shirt. Please don't think that this is normally what I do every day. So I've got graphic design. What I've given you to download is a zip file with about 20 different other graphics. And so these would be type of graphics that maybe you hand drew or something that you found online. So I've got call-out boxes, arrows, different types of graphic design icons that you could incorporate into your design. And what I want you to do is to put one of these into your design. I will show you how to vectorize these. Notice that each of these are JPEGs. JPEGs are made up of pixels, so we need to convert these to vector type shapes. What's a good one? Let's do the light bulb. So graphic number 8, and notice that I misspelled graphic on all of these. I'm sorry, this is my dyslexia coming out in me. So we need to place this one into our document. So File and Place. And graphic images, graphic number 8, we'll hit place. Here it here. Now remember, this is a rasterized image. We need to turn it into vector. I'm going to show you the quickest way of converting any rasterized image, especially if it's outlined like this, into a vectorized image. Rather than grabbing your pen tool and having to redraw it, with it selected, look at the very top of your menu and try to find the button that says Live Trace. With Live Trace with your image selected, hit Live Trace. And what Illustrator is going to do is it's going to look at the lights and darks of your object and it's going to redraw it as best as possible. Now there's one more thing that you got to do. We're going to hit on Expand. With Expand created, I can now zoom in and you can see I've got the points within my object that I have created. Pretty cool? So in other words, Illustrator did all the work for you. It looked at your image and it said, okay, if I had to redraw this in vector, where would I draw a line? Where's the contrast between a light and a dark? And it redrew it that way as well. You can do this with color images, but you tend to lose a lot of the details when you do that. And there's some ways of playing around with it. We just won't get into it for today. But this is just an easy way of vectorizing an image. With it selected, however, notice that you've got white and you've got black. I want to get rid of all the white areas. Here's an easy way of doing it. First of all, grab your white arrow. I'm going to click off on an open area just to deselect the object. Then when I click on any white area, I've got just the white area selected. I can hit my delete key and it deletes it away. So if I clicked here, white area, delete away. There's a white area there as well. So now I can use my black arrow to select the entire object and place it on top of what I'm working with from here. So I don't know, maybe give it a fill color or give it a pattern color. That would be really cool. Ooh, what if I gave it the same pattern that was behind it? Oh, awesome. I'm going to leave it up to y'all. Feel free to go crazy with it. The main thing is practice placing images in there, using the warp tool to warp your text. And remember when you place, I'll show you the thing one more time. So if I want to say place this graphic into here. First of all, it's rasterized. Hit Live Trace. Notice that I lost a little bit of detail along the edges here. I was nice and straight when I hit Live Trace. It kind of messes up a little bit. That's just going to happen. That's okay. Then hit Expand. And that'll break apart and turn it into the individual areas. Use your white arrow to select just the white areas, and you can erase those white areas away to work with. And then place it in there wherever you want it to be. In there. I don't want it in there at all. When you are finished with this, you can save your document, file, and do a save as or just a save. I don't think I went through this, but I do want to show you. There's different file formats you can save it as. By default, the Adobe Illustrator format is your normal Illustrator file that you can save it as. Most industry people want to have an EPS format. That's just kind of something that can be opened on multiple different computers if you don't have Adobe Illustrator. There's also a PDF format, so if nobody even has an editing software, you can make PDFs from here as well. When you hit save, it will give you one more dialog box, there it is, asking you what version you want to save it as. If for whatever reason you have a newer version of Illustrator and you need to save it down to an older version, here's where you can do it. So if I needed to save it as CS or CS2 or one of the older versions, I can do it from there. We'll just say OK, and it's been saved out from that. All good? Okay, I'll turn it over to you, let y'all play around creating your own t-shirts and uploading them when you're finished.